Okay, now we're digging deeper into ACF. And as you can see on my left-hand side, we have the team members custom post type and the locations custom post type that I prepared earlier. Now, if you don't know how to create a custom post type, then I would recommend you do my WordPress theme development series, and I will link it below to the custom post type section. But if you want, just do the whole series and you'll learn a lot. But what I'm aiming to do with the relational field is I'm going to create a couple of team members and I'm going to create a couple of locations. And then I want on the team members page to show the locations that they're in. So you are actually relating a team member to a location or locations. Now, there's no easy way to do it without this plugin in WordPress. It would just be insanely complex, and it's much easier to just use this plugin. So if you go to custom fields, and we'll create a new field group called relational fields. And inside there, we'll create something. Now, as I said before, we're going to have an interface on the team member profile page, which will show the locations. So we want the field label to be called locations. And we want to go down to relational. And I'm just going to go to relationship here. I'll do the others after, but relationship is one of the biggest ones. And then what we want to do is we want to choose what post type we want to choose from. So that will be the location post type. We'll also select featured image just to see what that does. Then I'll click on publish. And then we'll go in and we'll create a team member. So I'm just going to create a team member called Sean Freitas, which is me, of course. And I'll go locations and I'll create a location, one called Sydney and another one called Melbourne. And we'll just, okay, so my local server is stuffed up. I'll just reload it. And that should work now. Okay, now if we go back to custom fields and go to relational fields again, and we're just going to make sure that we connect this up with the correct custom post type. So we need to do post type equals team member. All right. So let's go to team members now. We'll click onto my name and okay, we've got a bit of an error there. That's the front end. We'll fix that later. But if we go to edit in the administrator panel, you'll notice that we have Melbourne and Sydney there as locations, which is in this custom post type, but we're allowed to link it. So I'll link Sydney and then click on update. This will allow us to basically display the locations on the team members page. So now that we have actually linked it, how do we display it on the team members page? So let's go into our theme or our coding editor, and I created a single page template for the team custom post type already. And we just need to receive the field. So the field is called locations. That's annoying me. I'll just get out of that. So we'll do locations equals get field locations. Okay, we don't need that. And then we'll just we'll dump it out to see how it comes out. So now we'll go on the front end of that page. And as you can see, it has brought over the WP post object. So technically it's bringing the data of that specific location into this page. To test it, we could go into the locations and go into Sydney because that's the one that I chose. And I'll paste some lorem ipsum into there. Oops. There we go. And let's see what happens when we now refresh the team member page. If you remember, the team member, Sean Freitas, is associated with Sydney location. There you go. So it's actually bringing the whole post object. So we could technically show all the post data on the team members page. So let's just do, I'll keep the var dump. Actually, we won't keep it open. We'll just do PHP echo locations Now let's see, it's actually an array, so we need to do a for each statement. So let me fix that. PHP for each, locations as location, PHP end for each. And inside there, we can do the post title. Whereabouts is the title? There we go, post title. As you can see, the name is Sydney there. So we could do PHP echo location. And now because this is an object, you can't do it like this. You have to do an arrow. There we go. So let's save that and refresh it. Cool. All right. So I'll go back into my team members page and I will add Melbourne as well and update it. Go back into view the post and you should see Melbourne come up as well. Now, if you wanted to add some more content, or you actually wanted to add like the content field, you could easily do that by. So I'll make this an H3. I believe it might be just post_content, and we'll save that and refresh it. And there we go. So now Sydney has the content from the Sydney page and Melbourne has nothing in there, of course. But that's basically how you link up those two pages. Now, what if you wanted to actually allow someone to be able to click on the name and it will actually go to the location page? Well, what we need to do is go back into our code and let's do another var dump of the location, and we'll just do one of them. And if we refresh it, you should see that we have an ID field, and the ID is 149. Okay, and then we can use a function in WordPress to grab the permalink. So what you would do is you would do PHP echo get page underscore link location ID. So that's going to automatically run a function and grab the actual permalink to that page. If we go down, you should see now it gives you the actual link. So then what we could do is we could just grab that, put it inside here, put it in an anchor tag. I'll just clean this up a bit. There we go. So let's have a look. Refresh. There we go. Let's click on Sydney. It will take us to the Sydney page. Click on Melbourne. It will take us to the Melbourne page. Okay, so if we go back to our custom fields and click into the relational fields again and click into the field we created, there are a couple of other options. We can, this is pretty much to change the way we can see it in the admin section. So as you can see here, we have these filters here. Maybe you don't want that. You can take that away and then click on update and then refresh. And my local server is running a bit slowly right now, but as you can see, it simplifies it. There's just a search there, and then there's the non-selected and the selected. Oh, sorry, the selected ones that are grayed out, and the ones that are selected, you can change and remove them. And also you'll notice that there's a gray box there, and that is actually the featured image of that location. So if we go to locations and click in Sydney, for example, and choose a featured image for Sydney. I don't actually have a picture of Sydney, but doesn't matter. We'll click on update, and then we'll go back to team members and click on my name. You should see the thumbnail there now. But what if you wanted that actual thumbnail to come up on the page here? So what if you wanted it to come up next to the name Sydney? You wanted that location's picture to come up? Well, you can easily do that. So if we go in here and do PHP echo get the post thumbnail URL, that's a WordPress function. You need to feed in the ID of the location, and then you tell it what size you want. So we can just use the standard thumbnail size. And if we refresh, you should now see that we have a link, or the link to the image there. So then we just need to do something like image source equals, and then we can refresh it And there you go. There's the image for that location. You might want, maybe you can wrap the whole thing in an anchor tag so that you can click on both. And that's how you do it. So that pretty much sums up what the relational field does. It makes it super easy to connect up multiple posts or custom post types and link them together.